Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and this video is going to be very exciting because the Korean MapleStory test server live stream announcement with all of the big updates that are coming anywhere between 2 to 4 to 6 months from now, depending on what type of the updates we're talking about are just finished. And I'm going to tell you every single thing that you need to know for all the quality of life, all the changes, all the upcoming events, everything in this video. Now, there is going to be another video specifically talking about the buffs and nerfs that is going to go live shortly after this video gets uploaded. So be on the lookout for that because that is crazy. All the buffs and nerfs that have changed for every single class, we have to talk about it, and it's going to be very exciting, or maybe it's going to be very sad depending on what you play. And obviously, if this type of video helps you out, definitely subscribe so I know that you want to see more of these types of videos, and pull up to the live stream where we'll be talking about this all day for probably so long, and get super hyped for the new update because there's a lot of good changes in this patch. So like I mentioned before, some of these changes are probably going to happen in around 2 months. Most likely they'll get accelerated. Some of them I could see them coming out later, maybe 4 months plus from now. But either way, it's not happening literally today as of this video being recorded. It's probably going to happen at least 2 months from now during the summer update. They did in the past fast track updates from the Korean version before, so I think it's pretty likely that that could happen again, but only time will tell. With that all being said though, let's get right into it. So what we're looking at right now is the first announcement that they made. The first announcement that they made is that they are going to be unifying a lot of class cooldowns. So if you don't know, a lot of classes have had 3-minute bursts like Nightwalker or Xenon or Nightlord, for example. All of these classes are going to be turned into 2-minute burst classes, some of them even 1-minute burst classes. So gone are the days of big giant 3-minute cooldowns. Even Oz rings like Ring of Restraint that give you massive buffs will be reduced to 2-minute cooldowns, and their buffs reflected by that reduction in cooldown as well. Because they're using them more often, they're not going to be as potent. So in my opinion, I think this is huge. I think this is a huge change for the game. No more waiting for really long cooldowns. Classes are much more DPS oriented these days than just strictly burst focused. And it's huge for everybody because now you don't have mismatching cooldowns in your parties anymore. Everybody can line up. Synergies are better. Like, it's just so much better for the game in pretty much every single way. Even if your class might have been like nerfed for the moment, it's better to have lined up cooldowns, in my opinion, as just like an enjoyable way to play the game. It's better to just have cooldowns lined up. It's better to just not have to wait as long for your burst or have to deal with any of that type of stuff. The other thing they added is a lot of quality of life to classes, giving them dashes. So classes that didn't have dashes, classes that didn't have iframes, they do have them now, which is really good. So for example, you can see here with a Blaze Wizard, you can see it dashing around, which is crazy. Like, or even Adele. Like, Adele has a dash that you can use. Now, dashes are very underrated, even with Kinesis over here. Dashes are very underrated in this game because there's a lot of micro movements that you would need in the higher end bosses that would save you. For example, when I play on my Lara, that doesn't have any dashes, so it's very hard to dodge certain patterns. But now, pretty much every class has a dash or an iframe that they desperately needed. I say that about Lara, but I think Lara actually didn't get one. But it is just the test server, so hopefully it gets patched and they make one by the time the live update actually goes out. But the next thing that they talked about were Meso income, depending on where you're at in the game. So this chart might look a little confusing, but I'm going to make it very simple for you. So long story short, this big red bar at the top that's constantly spiking up is how much mesos people are getting from bossing. And you could see that the amount of money you get from bossing has been increasing over the years. So this is from 2022, 2023, and now it's 2025. And most of the money that people are getting is from bossing. And you can see that the money they get from training and other resources, like, it's going up, but it's not going up that much. Basically, most of the money you get is from bossing, and that's true. On my character, on my Hyperion world, I get so much money from bossing. It's crazy how much you get these days. And they even made another chart that says that you get bossing money specifically from lower end bosses. That's where most of the money comes from for most people, which is very interesting. And what they're doing to address this is that they're going to be lowering the boss crystal value for lower end bosses, but increasing it for higher end bosses. So this is another data point that they mentioned over the last like year, 2 years. So they looked at how long the average player takes to clear Hard Lotus, for example. And they've noticed that Hard Lotus is just getting easier and easier and easier for the average player. People are clearing it sooner and sooner and sooner in their progression, yet the crystal is still so valuable. So what that means is it doesn't really incentivize you to fund that hard and get that deep in the game, because you can just get to Hard Lotus a lot easier with all the power creep and still make a ton of money. So for example, if we look at the boss crystal prices right now in the game, if we go to Hard Lotus, 444 million mesos. If we go to Hard Lucid, it's only 60 mil more. But the funding requirement to do Hard Lucid is way higher than Hard Lotus, or even normal Dark now. Normal Dark now is severely less than Hard Lotus, even though they're pretty similar in terms of difficulty to clear. So they noticed this and they wanted to increase the mesos on the higher end and lower it on the lower end. Let me know how you feel about that. I would have much rather had it that they just increase the amount of mesos on the higher end and not lower the lower end, but that's what they're doing. Again, we don't know if we're going to actually get this change or not, because historically on our server, they've not given us these boss crystal changes because they know how much our player base likes the lower end boss crystals, but we'll see. Now, the next major part to this update is they did an overhaul of pretty much all of the UIs in the game. So this is like the login screen now, where you can see your characters on each world without even signing into the world. You can see how many characters you have, what your strongest characters are, and they also made the UIs higher resolution. So no more of that like little square UI for anything in the game. Like that's it. Everything is going to be bare minimum. I think 1366 by 768 resolution, so a little bit higher than 720p for everything across the game, bare minimum. You can see that even in the login screen, they changed it so now you can have multiple backgrounds for your login screen. I think the nighttime one looks so good. It's so much better than the daytime one in my opinion, and then there's going to be more of them in the future. Even on the character selection screen, they changed it so that there's no more like misleading stats on what to play. It's just a description of the class. It tells you what the job branch is, so you know what classes can share cash shop, and you can see all of the classes in the game now. Instead of like explorers just all being bundled into one, you could see every single individual class, so you have a better understanding of what the classes at least look like, which is huge, to be honest with you. This is a huge change, and I'm all for it. It just looks way cleaner. So let's talk about some of the UI changes. Basically, they created a UI that just kind of has like everything on it, instead of like how it is now, where there's like a million different little buttons down here and you don't really know where everything is. They created a UI that just has everything on it. Everything from your V matrix, your hexa matrix, your MVP, like your stats, just your inventory, like just everything's on it all at once as well. There still is the individual UIs, but now they have like one big UI as well. They even changed key bindings. You can like sort key bindings by what type they are, and they added more space for them in general. Now, this is a big one. They changed the way that the equips inventory looks like. So what their logic is, the left side is accessories, the bottom is weapon, secondary, and emblem, and the right side is armors. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, oh my god, this is so ugly. It looks like the mobile game or whatever. That's true. Like, it does look like Maple M, but I think long term, this is better. Like, it's less confusing for an average person. You could see that, like, it's very clear. Like, left side is accessories. Like, you can explain this to someone a lot easier now. These are accessories, these are armors, and this is weapon, secondary, and emblem. These are like, the equips are broken into like 3 sections based off of what they are. The pet UI has been improved as well, where you can do everything in the pet settings all at once. So you don't have to open your options to change the threshold in which you're auto healed. It's all just like in the pet UI all at once, whether you want the pets to loot or not. The pet buffs, everything is just all together packaged all in one now. They even created more presets. I think there's even presets for like hair and face and skin now. So it's just easier to manage your NX and fashion. Now, this is a very big one. They changed the way that, I'm going to move it slightly. They changed the way that the stats on an equip look like. So as you can see, this looks very different. You see the stars shining at the top. They shine when you have a really high star force. The numbers are different as well, but in my opinion, they're actually a lot easier to read. You can tell which stats you're getting from star forcing. You can tell which stats you're getting from flames, which stats you're getting from the base stats and everything and the total. And what's really cool at the bottom here, when you look at a potential, it actually tells you what rank the potential is. So you can see that this item is unique and the top line is unique and the second two lines are epic. So now it's really easy to tell when you get a double prime or a really good potential, because it would have like legendary, then unique, for example. So it makes the game a lot easier to understand what's good and what isn't good. They even have a UI for souls now, which actually just saves you so much space and is like very convenient. Same with like other crafting materials and titles and a lot of other stuff that just like saves you space and makes your inventory a lot more clean. They made the NX inventory in particular for your decoration tab way bigger. Like they made it like 4 times bigger so you can hold all of your NX on your characters. You can also sort your NX over here by what type it is, like whether it's a weapon, a hat, or top, or something, which I think is really cool, because now you don't have to go into the cash app as often anymore and pull stuff out. So back to what we were talking about in terms of the equip UI, what's very good is you can tell over here at the bottom exactly what type of flame you rolled. So this is something that many people might not know, but it's something that has been an issue in the late to end game for a very long time. You don't really know exactly what type of flame you rolled. So for example, it says 6655. To get this information right now in the game, you would have to do a lot of math and look at a lot of charts that are on the MapleStory wiki, right? So for example, if I were to open this item, it says 126 and 4 all stat, right? But you don't know exactly what type of tiers those flames are. To keep it very simple, because I know this can get very complicated to explain exactly how it is, I have an entire flame guide where I explain this. But long story short, when you put a flame on an item, the flame rolls a bunch of different values from a bunch of different pools of values and combines them all together. So now instead of having to math out where all of those pools came from and what the values are, the game just straight up tells you what it is. So it tells you you hit a tier 6 strength, you hit a tier 6 strength and dex, you hit a tier 5 strength and int, and you hit a tier 5 all stat %. And then all of that together gets combined into your flame. So it's really nice, and it'll help new players, or honestly everybody who's not like super flame knowledgeable, understand whether a flame is really good and how the flame exactly works and gets calculated. I think it's huge, to be honest with you. It's a very nice quality of life to see, and it saves people the time from explaining to each other why a flame is good or whatnot. You could just like literally see what the numbers are. Now, the next thing that they did is also very good and makes the game a lot less confusing, is they created one big enhancement UI. So all of the enhancements can be done on a piece of gear in one UI. Star forcing, scrolling, flaming, hammering the item, potentialing, everything. Like it's all just grindstone. It's all just like one UI where that's it. You just open this UI and this is how you enhance your gear, and you don't have to worry about all these other UIs at once, and it's really sick. So for example, when you put an item into the Star Forcing UI, you will see exactly what stats you'll get from it, the rate, how much it costs. You could see a little outline of a star telling you what star you're going to go to. It just looks a lot cleaner, and they made it so that star catching is a lot easier. It doesn't get faster over time, which is very convenient. It's actually going to help a lot of people save money, because now your star forcing rates for the average person will actually go up a little because star catching is easier. But we have Guild Castle, so it doesn't really matter that much. They also changed it so that you don't have to click multiple times to start. Like you don't have to like click enhance and then press OK and then wait for the animation. You could just tap space and it enhances. So they literally turned it into like a gambling addiction method. You could literally just like spam space like he's doing here, where you can just like keep pressing space and you can see that the number is just going up, and like the animation's really clean and smooth now. Like it's pretty funny. Like you don't have to like actually click on anything. Like you just spam space. When you open the flame UI, it even shows you all the flames you have in your inventory, so you don't have to have like your inventory open and like drag the item. It's just like all there. Now the next thing that they did is they improved the MVP system rewards. So everybody knows the MVP red players are the most oppressed. I'm just joking, but yeah, so they made it so that MVPs at higher tiers just give you way more stuff. They haven't touched the MVP system since 2020, so it's been 5 years, and they finally updated it that it just gives you a ton of quality of life, gives you like new whale maps that you could just like AFK in, gives you 4x coupons, way more MVP coupons. Like, you're actually just finally getting stuff now. One of the things that they added for high MVP ranks, which I don't know how I feel about it, it's like pay to win quality of life, is they added the option to use multiple flames at once if you're high MVP. So it just saves you a lot of time using multiple of an item at a time. I feel like they might even do this with cubing at some point too, where you could just use multiple cubes at the same time. But they did this with flames, which is pretty convenient, I guess. So you just save a bunch of time and you choose which one is best. They added a MapleStory Home feature, which is weird, I guess, because we already have MapleStory Home on our server, and I think we got MapleStory Home from the Taiwan region. But now they added it officially into the Korean MapleStory, and it looks similar, but like I don't think it's the exact same. So I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know if we're gonna have two homes or if our current home system is just gonna be removed and then we're gonna get the Korean one. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but they basically have MapleStory Home now, which is like cool, I guess. It's like officially in the game. Maybe this time I'll actually get a home. Next, they talked about the future anniversary update, which it's probably going to be a while till we get this. It's probably going to be our next year's anniversary update, or maybe the year after that, but probably next year's anniversary update is going to be this. So they made a new haste called Haste Max, which if you don't know how haste works, basically you kill a bunch of monsters, like 200,000 monsters, right? And then you get an OP title that has OP stats. But that's not the best part about haste. The best part about haste is that throughout the entire duration of the event, runes have a 10-minute cooldown and give you double the amount of XP that they normally do. So it's huge for training. But what's cool about Haste Max that they did is now you get double the amount of Soul Erda dropped, which is really good. You can level up your Hexa skills much faster this way. Now, I don't know if they're going to make it so that it's also fragments, but I think in the Korean version, it's just Soul Erda, which is, you know, not that great for us in Heroic because the bottleneck for us is fragments, not Soul Erda. But I hope they have it so that's also fragments, because for them, they could trade and they could, you know, just buy fragments. And then Soul Erda is the limiter, so it's really good for them. This is like some of the rewards that you get. The title, like a chair and like a damage skin. I mean, they're all whatever for me. And then the MapleStory anniversary event looks like this. There's like daily 1k mobs you have to kill, weekly mobs, boss rewards, and basically how it works is you slowly increase like your GPA. It's called Maple University, which is funny because I have videos called that as well. And it's a very standard like anniversary type event where there's just like rewards just as you progress the event. Tons of flames, growth potions, cubes, Soul Erda, even more growth potions, VIP boosters, symbols. There's a lot of like really nice stuff that helps you out with your progression. And then they also have the boss stats that you can get and upgrades for daily. So you get more symbols every day, more XP every day from Monster Park and stuff like that. So it's very nice. But that's about it for this upcoming update. A lot of really cool stuff was announced. Make sure you watch the buffs and nerfs video as well. That's going to come out very soon from me because that's also very interesting. This video was just about the quality of life and, you know, UI changes, system changes, stuff like that, which I think is very good. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of all these changes. There's some stuff that I think could have been a little bit better. Like I would have liked it if you could just use multiple flames for everybody, but whatever. I mean, it's just so much easier because I've been trying to teach people the game for so long, and now that things are becoming simplified, like one UI for everything, it's just going to be so much easier to get people into the game, and I think that's just great. That all being said though, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, pull up to the live stream so you don't miss out on anything. And obviously, if you have any questions or thoughts, leave a comment down below. Join the Discord if you want to talk about it with other people as well too. With that all being said, appreciate you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. Shout out to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, Jay, Kyle, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, Henzo, Henrique, and Kelvin. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you everybody who submitted fan art. You can always submit it in the Discord and it'll be put at the end of every video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.